What's up, guys? This is your boy DJ Tony T again with another video on Virtual DJ, the latest Virtual DJ Now 2025. Wanted to show a few things about the database area, which is this area down here. Number of items to show. First off, we're going to start on the left side and just kind of go across from left to right. But I set my local music folder, actually my external drive, where all my music is, as a favorite, right? Which if you find your drive, you can set it as a favorite, and it will show up here at the top. So it's very easy for me to get to my music when I first start up. I just hit plus, and then I've got all my stuff here. You know, my wedding stuff, my regular DJ music, my dance music, everything I need to DJ. So another thing I've got these icons configured to show up. I can show just music files, my just video files, or just karaoke. I don't do karaoke very much anymore, so a lot of times I'll take that and just tell it not to show it. But if I wanted to just do videos only, I can also just do that, and it just shows the videos. So, uh, also sometimes I get blind, and so I'm an older gentleman now, so I can increase or decrease the font size. Here is where you do your settings. And so obviously this is another way to do what I just did, but not as sexy. Then you have display options. I always do the grid view, which I'll show here like that, because I like to see all of my work, all the hours and hours I put in finding the album, track number, year, all the things that I do extra to make sure that my library is good and presentable. So I like to show the grid view. I don't do any padding because it's just wasted space, right? And I told you about the font size. Also, when I make changes to my library, I do this as well because it's important to keep your links from your database to your files updated. So I always do that probably once a week as I'm updating things in my library. Finally, if you notice color filters here, all of these are blue. And what that is, I have this thing to show blue instead of white text if it has stems already taken care of. So if it's already prepared the stems, it turns the text of the file blue. We'll get into this here in a minute. So that's the folder view. As far as my database, I put everything in here in the ID3 tag information because if I show up at somebody else's laptop with my hard drive, I want to be able to make sure that I can find everything that I need. So I don't put anything in the info tab over here, which is specific to the database, like comments, for example. I actually put it in the file itself. So when I show up at a new computer, let's say I'm traveling, I can still find my stuff. So everything's within the files. I mean, I can even go into Windows Explorer, the file manager, and find all this information if I wanted to by right-clicking on the file and saying properties. So everything's very organized. Of course, this is years of work, but uh, in the end, I'm kind of OCD, so it makes me feel better. So that's why I do it. uh, question was asked in the comment section of a previous video about how to organize the lists and do it like a nested organization, so organized by one, and then within each organize some more. So let's say I want to organize by key, which I already have actually, I believe, yeah. So that's backwards. Virtual DJ has this thing where this thing disappears. I don't know why it does that, but anyway, so now it's an ascending key rather than descending key. And within each key, I want to organize by BPM. So I click BPM and it will do the same thing. Let's see, it didn't work that time, so I'll try it again. Sometimes you have to do this twice in order to get it to work right. Did it work that time? I think it worked that time. So yeah, so they're all organized by keys, and within each key, it's in ascending order of BPM, and that way I can find within each key the speed of the song that I want. So all it takes is just clicking one and then clicking the next one. The order, it's a little buggy, I would say. It wasn't buggy in Virtual DJ 7, but sometimes I have it's showing ascending order of track, which is totally wrong. I think it's ascending order of key. Should be D. Anyway, just click the ones you want, and until you get it correct. It's not always very good, but once you verify that it's that way, it will stay in that order. It will not change. So, anyhow. And then I also have these list. They basically narrow down the list into these things. So, for instance, I talked about it earlier, but in the file names I have and the titles I have DJ intro. Sometimes when the song is already kind of paired for a DJ and it's already got an introduction section, which makes it very easy to mix in. I don't have to create my own intro section. I mark that file, so every file has DJ intro. And I can click that and it pulls up all the ones that are DJ intro. Sometimes I do premature end, and that's when a song like ends really fast, doesn't really have a fade out, or maybe the song's cut off because it came out of like a mix CD or something, using an old term. So I do that sometimes. I have this one that says, have I already played it? Right? And if I haven't already played it, it shows up. I find that the songs that you've played already, it puts this little red hash over the icon, like right here. It's very hard to see that one, especially when you're scrolling fast and looking for a song quickly. So I make my own list filter. Says, have I already played this or not? And if I have, it takes it off the list, and so I don't see songs that I've played already. And then I also have one that do I have stems yet? And actually, all the stems are done in this folder, so it still shows the number of files. If I go over here where I don't have stems, I don't need stems for 2 steps, it'll say nothing because they don't have any stems prepared. And you do that over here with this quick filter. Go edit, and once again, we're into the little scripting things again. You can use some of these, but actually, if you go in here, so day since last play is greater than 1, so greater than today. So I can go in here to settings, and there's this long list of commands that you can tell it, right? So it kind of goes off the screen, actually. But day since last play is what I want, is greater than or equal. There are several other ones. I tried not equal to 0, but that didn't work as well as greater than or equal to 1. So greater than or equal to 1 day since last play gives me not already played today, if that made any sense at all. Title contains DJ intro. We talked about that. I don't use key diff very much at all, really, because I organize by key. So I just scroll to the current key that I'm playing, plus or minus 1. Right? And then prepared stems equals 1. So like if I'm playing this song here, it's an 01. I use harmonic keys, kind of a carryover from my electronic dance music days. But anyway, so I just scroll to 01A, which is of course at the top, and find a similar song. I might do a 01 Bravo or 2A, right? But I don't really use the key diff because I just organize my lists by keys, so it really isn't necessary, right? Once again, I don't use this at all. We talked about that. There's the preview thing. Sometimes that can be interesting, but if you know your songs, you really don't need that. So it pays to know your songs as the DJ. Then also over here, I do do all of these lists, show all of the lists. You can tell it not to show them all, but I just show them all, right? Because they're useful, especially karaoke. That's the way karaoke's done in the new virtual DJ is pretty freaking sweet. So some code for running over the database, right? I use a single button. It's all DJ boards pretty much these days have them. It's the browse button. You can rotate it or push it, right? And in this particular board, the DDJ SP2, it's browse, ENC and browse push. So ENC is basically turning it left and right. So I can scroll. That's the wrong button. There we go. I can go up and down, right? Let's actually do with this list here. I can scroll up and down. Which this grid view is funny because it will go left and right as it scrolls up and down. But anyway, be that as it may. So that's browser scroll. If I push on it, it does various different things depending on where I'm at. So there's 3 windows: the folder window, the file songs window, and then the side view. So if it's on the folder window, it simply just opens the folder. If I press or opens or closes it, right? If I'm over here, it'll add to the playlist. And I think it's this one. I don't use it very much, but let's see. Oh, of course, now I'm over here. When I'm over here, it scrolls the list, right? If I'm here, yeah, it adds it to the auto mix. The only time it's useful for me for that is like during dinner at weddings or corporate events when I just want to let it play. It's not very useful otherwise. So now, of course, everything on this board, me, has to have a shift function. So if we go to the shift side, it actually cycles this center panel here. So it'll cycle between these if I do shift. Of course, I need to move the microphone away from my mouth to do this, but here we go. So this parem bigger, so the value that's sent from the board is, if it's bigger than 0, it scrolls it to the right, +1. If it's less than 0, it scrolls it left, -1. And so that's how I can go left and right between the windows. Otherwise, it would just always go right and then from master to audio, which I didn't like that very much. So that's why I did this value that it sends to evaluate the value, less than or bigger than 0. And then the push is just changing the browser windows. So if I shift push, it'll switch between the 3 windows. And so that's useful for, not having to grab the mouse and do all those things I did earlier. So that's a few things about the browser window. I hope this helped you guys out. There were a couple of questions about that in previous videos. So happy DJing, and we'll see you in the next video.